Hello dealers. It's such a blessing to have the very best friction reducer in the market to sell. Because NMF outperforms the other products, we think the most effective way of selling it is to provide live demonstrations of it for customers. The two ways to do that are either the drill press tests, which we present in a separate video, or this friction machine test. We think this friction machine test may be ideal because it's very quick and simple and provides a dramatic visual of NMF's superior performance. For you, the dealer, it's also convenient because it doesn't require much preparation or cleanup, and it doesn't involve a lot of parts. Also, you can package it all up neatly in this green box, metal box that it comes in. The box is really heavy, so just be careful, not to hurt yourself. You might want to consider it a two-man job. I'd like to provide you some guidance on how you may speak in your demonstrations. At our company, we sell NMF on its merits. We never criticize another product by name. So if you remember that, you're golden. That's really the key. Just let the demonstration results represent themselves. Speak for themselves is what I mean to say there. Never exaggerate the performance of NMF. Don't say things like NMF works miracles, and just kind of stay away from the expression of it's amazing, stuff like that. Don't speak beyond our videos and printed materials and website in regards to NMF's performance. For example, this might seem a little tricky to you, but I wouldn't want you to make the general statement of NMF improves fuel efficiency. As we know, in almost all cases it does. But the only situation in which we guarantee it improves fuel efficiency is with semi-trucks who have the engine, tranny, and differentials treated. In other cases, we know usually it will improve it, but there are so many variables involved that we should avoid saying it will as a blanket statement, because we want everything we say to always be true. Some things to keep in mind in doing your demonstration: sometimes people will want to film your demonstration, and that's great. Let them do it. It's good for us. Now, here's what's going to happen when you're demonstrating NMF. Famous name brands, which people think are great, are going to get slaughtered by NMF. People will be surprised. Some people will react by bad-mouthing those products. Please be careful not to get caught up in the moment and join them. We do not want to have sound bites of a GoNMF person bad-mouthing another product. Those companies are comprised of people like you and us here at the headquarters, and we will treat their company and their products with respect. Now, I do have a couple tips which will help make your demonstrations more effective. The people coming to see your demonstration might be skeptical of the additives you have brought to compete against NMF. So, for the most part, consider your additives as a very last resort. Instead, ask the people in the crowd, is there a product they think is great? Is there an additive which they think is the best? And do they have any on them? And if they do, ask them to bring their products forward and use them in the demo. And they'll feel much more confident in what's going on if the stuff in the demo came out of their bottle. Also, some people might be a little skeptical of this machine. They might think it's like trickery. But if you become proficient and not just doing the demonstration yourself, but walking the crowd through, people in the crowd through the demonstration so they are doing the demonstration, then they will be more trusting. They will see that there's no trickery involved. It's just a machine that generates friction to be overcome by a lubricant. So now we will move into the procedures of doing the demonstration. For the purpose of this training video, we will have Lucas Oil Stabilizer compete against NMF. Now I will describe the friction machine for you and show you how it works and the procedures for doing our test. The function of this machine is to generate friction and wear. How it does that is by applying pressure against a roller bearing against this race, which will be spinning. So you put your roller bearing inside this arm here, and you screw it down into position. Now I'm going to show the camera that this is a fresh roller bearing with no wear. Can you see that? Okay, good. Now I'm going to put the arm on here. And this is kind of the rest position. So the way this works is this works as a lever to push up on this arm, which pushes down on this roller bearing. This race is spinning, so I'll show you what I mean. See? And then you will apply lubricant to this race to try to reduce friction and wear on the roller bearing. Now this part here is just a cup which is held on magnetically. During the test you don't fill the cup with lubricant, it's just to catch lubricant that drips down. The test itself involves three factors. One is the time that the race will spin with the lubricant that you're testing. The second thing is the amount of wear damage that occurs to the roller bearing. And when I talk about time, it's not just time with a static amount of weight. Our approach to the test is this. Whenever this lever gets down into the down position, you start the stopwatch. And every 10 seconds, you add weight. One weight, and then the next 10 seconds you add another weight, and then you see how long it takes for the lubricant to fail. Now this configuration we have is so that every lubricant, even NMF, will fail. Whenever this machine ships to you, if you buy one, it'll come with just this short arm here, because with other lubricants all you need is a short arm to get failure. But NMF is much more effective, and so in order to get NMF to lock up, we at our company manufacture this extension arm for more leverage, and we'll ship one of these to you. Now, some safety concerns. You are responsible for your own safety when doing this test, and here are the key things to pay attention to. Back here are two pulleys and a belt that are spinning. And, whoops, I should not have done that because I just caused wear on a bearing. So anyway, that was like a little example of what not to do. I was just trying to demonstrate for you that there's a pulleys here that you need to be careful to keep your hands away from and your clothes away from. You also might, if you can, want to build a guard on that. Now, the other safety concern is this. During this test, this race will get really hot, and you will want to be careful not to burn your fingers on it when you're cleaning the race. And then the final thing is, when you're cleaning, you want to be off here to the side so your fingers don't get pulled up and jammed into this metal piece here. So I'll show you an example of like how you would want to clean safely. So you'd be off here to the side like this, cleaning. Now, what I did by starting that the machine without lubricant in there is I probably already caused some wear on this bearing and a little bit of roughness on the race. So I'm going to, let's go ahead and take a look at this on camera. Yes, there is some wear. Do you see this, cameraman?
Yep.
Okay. Maybe give you a different angle?
Turn it back the way you had it.
The way I had it?
Whoops. Yep.
Okay. So what I'm going to do for this test on the motor oil is I'm going to turn this bearing so we have a fresh location. And then you're actually going to see me cleaning up the race a little bit the way you will later. So what I've got here is 220 grit mesh sandpaper. It's kind of a unique looking sandpaper, but I'm going to clean up this wear here. Okay, now that's very nice. What I'm going to do now is, since I used the sandpaper, I'm going to use a baby wipe here to clean up any little like particulates that might be there. Now the baby wipes have a little bit of moisturizer on them, so what you'll want to do is have a person off screen who will magically throw you a shop rag and then you clean off any little bit of moisturizer that might have come from the baby wipes like this, and then we're good to go. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to compete 3 lubricants. When you're doing your tests, you may compete many lubricants. Now, one thing to be cautious of or aware of is that you've just got a little electric motor here, and it will get hot. So, you will want to have a fan that can blow on this. You know, something like this could work, or something that's more concentrated on it could work. And today, when I do art tests, I've got bottles with pointy tips that I can use for putting on the lubricants. But if you don't have pointy tip things, like if somebody just brings you a bottle of something to test, what you can do is, using one of these, it's called a pipette, I think is the name of it. Can you get that on camera here, kind of close?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the name is pipette. You can get these on eBay for $4 or $5 for 100 or so, and you just stick this in the bottle and then suck out some. Okay, so now we've got our clean bearing here, and I'm going to put this into place. I'm going to set up our stopwatch . And if I forget, cameraman, please tell me to turn on the stopwatch. And we're going to start. This bearing here is for the Lucas oil stabilizer we'll test, and this one here is for the NMF we'll test. I'm going to turn this on and lower this arm, and when I lower the arm I will start the stopwatch and go around back and begin adding weights. So I'm turning it on. I'm over here so I'm not getting caught up in that pulley. I'm adding some Valvoline Max Life 5W30 synthetic blend oil. Now I'm going to have to be over here so I can start the stopwatch. And then I will move quickly to the back.
Seven, 8, 9, 10. That's it.
Okay, so what time was it?
You got about 13 seconds. It was 12 something.
Okay, so the time is 12 or 13 seconds. You know, I was back there so I couldn't turn it off. So you turned off the machine. We went that long. We had only one weight on there. And now we're going to look at the amount of damage that occurred to the bearing, and we will clean up for the next test. Now in this case it didn't run very long and it wasn't super hot. If it runs for a long time, I'd have to be careful. Now I'm going to clean this, and cameraman, can you see a lot, or can you see the damage clearly?
Pretty good. Tip it just a little bit. There you go. That's a better angle. It's easier to see.
Okay, so that's how much wear was caused in the 12 to 13 seconds using just Valvoline Max Life 5W30 synthetic blend. So I will take this bearing out and I will set it right here. Now I'm going to add the bearing for the Lucas Oil Stabilizer test. I'm putting it in. Cameraman, can you focus in to show that that is a fresh bearing?
Yep.
Okay. And now we'll do a little bit of cleanup. There's a little bit of oil on here, and so standing over here, not getting into the pulleys for safety. That's not super hot. I'm going to turn it on and clean it up first with the baby wipe. Okay, now I'm going to use the 220 grit mesh sandpaper. I don't know if it's actually sandpaper, but I guess it's not actually sand, but that's the word that we have in English for it. I'll do that a little more. Okay, so that's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to do a little bit more of the baby wipe to get any, sandpaper particles off. And then I'm going to use the shop rag, the clean shop rag, to get any moisturizer off from the baby wipe. Okay, so now we are ready for the test of the motor oil and Lucas oil stabilizer. So, just gonna get this into resting position. I'm gonna reset my clock. I'm going to turn it on, apply the oil, and then apply the Lucas oil stabilizer. And then, as I set it down, I'll turn on the stopwatch. And if I forget, cameraman, tell me, timer. Okay, so there's our oil. You guys recognize this, right? Lots of it on there.
Eight, 9, 10. Time. That was
Okay.
between 12 and 13 seconds.
Okay, so that's between 12 and 13 seconds, about the same as oil alone. So now we will run through the same procedures of cleanup and observation of the amount of wear to the pin, or the roller bearing, I should say. So now I'm going to clean up the roller bearing and take a look at the amount of wear which occurred in 12 to 13 seconds. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now I will take this bearing and I will set it right here. Won't be touching that again. Well, it's actually still kind of gooey, but that will stay right there. This is the oil bearing here, and this is the bearing which we will now do the measurement with the oil and NMF. Okay, cameraman, can you focus in on that bearing to show that it's a fresh bearing? Okay, and now we will do the cleanup. Same thing, staying away from the pulley in the back and being here off to the right, we clean up. Lucas oil stabilizer is thick, so you get a lot of it on there. So I'm going to use a shop rag a little since there's so much Lucas on there. Then use the 220 grit, this abrasive paper, I guess is another word we can use for it. Okay, so I got still a lot of, the Lucas, see, you can see the Lucas is so thick that it put a lot of junk on the wheel. See, the Lucas is still coming off. It's probably pretty good, and then I'll use the shop rag to get off the moisturizer from the baby wipe. Okay, so now we are ready to test the NMF with the motor oil. Standing off to the side safely, away from the pulley, I'll turn it on. Now, you know, as you get good at this, you can also get good at training somebody, or, you know, helping somebody from the crowd do this safely as well. And so they'll be more comfortable with the confidence of the test whenever they are doing it themselves. So now we will add the oil, and then we will add NMF. Okay, resetting the clock. I'm going to set this down. Okay.
8, 9, 10. 18, 19, 20. 28, 29, 30. 38, 39, 40. 48, 49, 50. 58, 59, 60. 108, 109, 110. 118, 119, 120. 128, 129, 130. 138, 139, 140. 148, 149, 150.
So, you know, we've made the extension lever to get more leverage, and you've put in all the weights that come with the kit. And you know, the customers can see it's lasting a very, very long time. What's happening now is under all the pressure, the NMF is getting, you know, burned off. It's getting hot and getting burned off. So we should get failure pretty soon. One of the things when you're doing these demonstrations is, you know, the motor can get pretty hot, so you'll need some time in between tests sometimes just to protect the life of your motor. But okay, like 339 or
Somewhere in there, yeah.
something like that. So that's the demonstration of how you would do this. Now, at this point, you need to be careful because this is super hot. So you may. Here's what we recommend. I'll show you what we do.
Go ahead and show the bearing.
Okay, but it's so hot.
You can take the bearing off.
What's that?
You can grab a hold of the handle and take the bearing off.
I can do that?
Just don't touch the bearing. Put it in the park, you know, get that up. You can take the arm off. Don't touch the bearing. Just, it's fine.
Ooh,
Don't touch that part. Touch the other part. You can take the arm off.
I think maybe I should get gloves. That's really hot. Let's pause the camera just for a second. I'll get gloves.
I don't want to pause this camera because you.
Okay. Well, maybe from this angle. Maybe from this angle. You didn't pause anything, right?
No.
Okay. Okay.
So hold it by the other end. You're not burning yourself. Hold it by the fat end of the metal.
Okay. That's still pretty hot, but it's not too bad. Okay. Okay, so now
Just hold it right there. That'll probably be good.
now you can see, and your customers will be able to see that under all of that tremendous
Can you
pressure.
turn it down just a little bit? Okay. Okay. Yeah, just rotate it so they'll be able to. Okay. Turn it back down a little bit more. Yeah, get the little strings off there. Yeah, you can see that the wear surface isn't anywhere close.
Right, and that's despite being under just, I don't know how much more pressure that is, but that's a lot more pressure, as you know. So that's the situation with that bearing. Now, that's super hot. Let's say now you're at the end of your testing in order to clean that up, we'd first need to cool it down. And we will just run it with water.
Just put water in the holder, fill it right up. It should shut off. I'm going to do that when it's recording.
Okay. So, is there anything else you think that would be important to show?
Well, you're going to have to do that water a couple of times, so you'll have to dump that water and do it again because that thing's still too hot for you to clean it up. It's already boiled that water.
So basically, when it's cleanup time, you'll have to do this and let it cool down. Add some fresh water. You want to have a jar in which to dump out this dirty water into. Put in fresh water and clean it. So that's the demonstration. And as you get ready to do it yourself, please call us and ask us any questions. We'd be glad to walk you through it. So now, what you'll want to show people that have seen your demonstration is a comparison of the pins with the oil alone, the oil plus the additive, which they wanted to compete against NMF, and the oil plus the NMF. So they can look at how much wear damage occurred with oil alone and with oil with the additive to compete over just a short period of time. Like in this case, I think it was like 12 or 13 seconds. And then with the NMF,
Hold that one, let me zoom in on it. Okay.
Under tremendous stress for 3 minutes and 39 seconds or so, that's all the wear you get. So under normal situations, you get just about zero wear with NMF.